The heat is on for the weekend. It is going to be steamy, but there will be chances of thunderstorms too in between, with some possible severe weather followed by cooler weather for next week. So I want to take a look at some of the interesting weather effects of the last couple days. We had very light winds at the surface and aloft, and that allowed things like the urban heat island to be really visible. These are temperatures yesterday afternoon. You can see a difference of 2 to 3 degrees from the urban core versus outside of the Twin Cities, and that actually led to a field of cumulus clouds that was more dense right over Minneapolis, St. Paul than over areas outside of it. And also though, look at Lake Mille Lacs. Big enough lake where the air over it's cooler and it created its own sea breeze, something you'd see in Florida normally, and that actually helped to pop up a couple showers where the wind was coming off of Lake Mille Lacs. Just enough of a wind as temperatures warmed up inland, that cooler air over the lake blows out inland. So pretty interesting stuff that we don't get to see every day, amplified here because there was a lack of wind. Temperatures today in the mid to upper 80s. It's going to be a warm one, but it's going to get hotter as we head into the weekend. We're already starting to see some of these storms I've been talking about all week, ridge riders on the edge of the heat. These little X's here are bits of vorticity. It just shows spin aloft, which means that there's instability in those pockets riding along the edge of the heat dome. So the core of the heat is in the west, and all these little dark red blobs are little ripples, little miniature cool fronts aloft that will potentially touch off some spotty thunderstorms, especially at night. By day, we're mostly capped. These temperatures are pretty warm aloft here, so it's hard to get storms to pop through that when we have that layer of middle layer of warmth. But at night, the low-level jet stream gets going. Things can be a little more dynamic to produce some storms. So the first chance comes tonight. Storms develop maybe around Winnipeg, northwestern Minnesota, and then try to dive south and east. So what's left could come through in the morning hours, some clouds, maybe some showers, and then more storms develop later in the day. But notice in each of these cases, this is one model, a North American model, but now this is the high resolution rapid refresh model. Similar scenario, maybe some clusters of storms early in the day. All of these storms originate North Dakota or the northern half of Minnesota, north of that cap on the edge of the heat. But both have redevelopment of storms somewhere in central or northern Minnesota late in the day again, or evening into the overnight hours. And then those storms dive kind of south. There's still a lack of upper level winds, so these storms kind of do their own thing. So that's why as they develop, they kind of push south following their outflow. Anything that does develop could be severe western Wisconsin, Twin Cities, up through North Dakota. Slight risk, level 2 out of 5 of severe storms tomorrow into tomorrow night. Now the situation is conditional. Doesn't mean storms will develop, but anything that does could be strong or severe. Heat index tomorrow, even if we have clouds and showers, I do think we'll clear out. It'll still be close to 90, and with the humidity, it's going to feel like it's in the 90s. Sunday, similar scenario. Probably the hottest of our days, low 90s for highs here across the southern half of the state. But with those dew points, it's going to feel again, like mid to upper 90s, possibly some 100-degree heat indices Saturday and Sunday afternoons for portions of southern and southwestern Minnesota. We do see cooler air come in Monday. That cool front slides through. Tuesday, highs in the upper 70s to around 80, just low to mid 70s to the north, and most importantly, those dew points will drop. But this weekend, very muggy air, near 70-degree dew points or even higher. Some of the models have mid to upper 70s dew points for parts of south central, southwestern Minnesota. As that front comes through, though, much drier dew points. Comfy air is back by Tuesday. So we do get a little bit of a cool break mid to late week next week, but most of the models do agree on heating things up again, whether it's the upper 80s or it's the 90s by next weekend or the following week. That's the question mark, but the trend will be back to a warmer one. So isolated to spotty clusters of thunderstorms, hard to predict in this scenario past really 36 hours. So the more clear picture is what will happen tonight and tomorrow. Looks like there will be storms tonight somewhere in the northern half of the state, and then what's left will potentially drift south and east. We clear out, it's hot during the day, and then again, maybe some redevelopment in northern Minnesota late tomorrow, and then that same scenario could play out again Sunday and Monday too. Hot by day, storms by night, maybe early morning. So that's what we're going to be watching, but it all stabilizes as that cooler, drier air moves back in next week.